What is going on, guys? Victor here, and today I am super stoked. We are in beautiful sunny South Florida. Not so much though. Brookie's behind the camera, and today we are pompano fishing. Now, I've only done one other pompano catch and cook on this channel, but I'm dying to do one. Everybody tells me all the time how good they taste, and there's a reason people chase these fish up and down the state for hundreds of miles. So we're on the beach. We got these really strange looking baits. These are called fish bites, and the commercial pompano fishermen and the people who do this for a living swear by these things. It kind of looks like something you'd find at the bottom shelf of Walmart, but we're gonna see how they work. I got two different flavors here. We got the clam flavor and the sand flea flavor, which pompano feed on naturally. So we got 3 rods. We're gonna have a 3-rod spread. I'm gonna rig them up and we're gonna send them out. This is the typical pompano rig you guys see people fishing. This is a spider weight, and what these prongs do, it'll really grab into the sand. Especially, it's really good for when it's rough. And then you have these floats here, and these serve 2 purposes from what I hear. Number 1, they keep your bait off the bottom so that crabs don't get it, because it's like a little mini bobber on your hook. And then also the color, depending on the color of the water, is supposed to create a contrast to kind of just, it's like an indicator. It'll attract a pompano or whiting or croaker, whatever it is. So that's why all 3 rods have different colored floats. We got a little yellow and chartreuse here, and then the other one's got pink. And these are little mustard circle hooks. And towards the end of this video, I'm actually gonna show you guys how to make your very own pompano rig instead of having to buy one, because I'm all about teaching and I'm all about saving money when you can. So this is the sand flea flavored one, gonna go on the bottom hook. And then what a lot of people will do also is they'll either fish these just with the fish bite, or they'll put a sand flea on, a piece of clam, shrimp. We actually have some frozen sand fleas from our last Sebastian trip, and I'm gonna tip some of the rods with sand flea. These are the sand fleas that I was talking about, and if you look in the surf, if you've ever been at the beach in Florida, you'll see these like little dots come up, and you can see them kind of sticking and poking their heads up. The sand fleas live in the surf line, and they come up when the waves recede, and then when the waves come back up, they'll actually crawl around and look for things and eat things. So pompano love these because they're naturally at the beach. These are frozen ones. Brook and I might try to get some live ones a little bit later. All right, guys, so we got our 3 rods out, and the way I did it was this rod is the shortest, because sometimes the pompano will run really close to the shore, especially around a high tide, and then we got 2 kind of far out, as far as I could lob them. Now all we got to do is sit and wait. It's kind of like lazy man's fishing. Bring your girlfriend, your wife out to the beach and just enjoy the day. So I was flying my drone, and Brookie's over here taking a nap, and I'm like, Brook, the rod's slack. So she goes up to pick it up, and what's on there?
We got one.
That looks like a keeper too. They got to be 11 inches to the fork, so we got to measure them quick.
All right, let's
measure them quick. There's a tape measure on your cart. So we went for the pink bobber. We got ourselves a pompano, even though my babe was sleeping. 11 inches to the fork.
Oh yeah, baby.
Oh yeah, baby. He's 13 inches.
Okay,
oh no, hold up. Yeah, he's good. Let's rinse him off a little. We've tried to catch pompano a bunch of times together, haven't we?
Yeah, I think this is probably maybe like our 5th time or something.
And just look at how pretty these fish are. We got the targeted species today, and we didn't even know we had one on.
I was like, Victor, I think I'm gonna take a nap. We hadn't had a bite in since we've been here, which has been a couple hours. We hadn't had a bite, and then woke up to a really slack line and a pompano on.
And then we finally got our new cooler, which I told you guys in a previous video. We got sponsored by Angle Coolers, which I'm stoked we can finally use it. Finally put some meat in this thing. So there we go. First pompano in the Angle. First fish in the Angle. I'm stoked. Let's go get some more. Pompano number 2 on. They're starting to bite. Oh, I think I might have these guys lined.
You still got one. Yeah. Measure it.
He's 11.5 inches, almost 12. 11.5, keeper. We got 2 now, and it's starting to rain, but we're still out here. It's very hard to film right now because it's raining and we're not trying to get the cameras wet.
Oh,
it's a good one. All right.
This is definitely a keeper.
Yes, it is. That's my babe. The fish bites are working good today, aren't they?
Yeah. Yep.
12 inches exactly. We got number 4 on, guys. This is what pompano fishing should be like. One after another after another. Oh, there's my little pompano. Alright, was it gonna be another 12 incher?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, babe. 4 keepers now.
We need to get a bait out.
Yeah, we do. I don't think we have 1 rod out.
No, we don't have any.
Oh, we don't have any rods out. And look, they've hit every single color so far. Chartreuse, pink, and the yellow. So there's a lot of pesky fish that'll pick at it and crabs and stuff, and that's one reason I think people really like those fish bites, because it's, I'll have to show you guys later, but it's really tough and it's got this filament and it stays on the hook for a long time. You'll notice when you get a pompano, your rod will go slack and it's really bouncing, and then when you get those little kind of stupid hits, I call them, your rod's just going a little bit like this and they're not actually making your line slack, and that's usually not a pompano.
And the sand fillets, most of the time we cast them off anyways.
Yeah, because they're frozen.
We're putting fish bites and sand fillets, and most of the time the sand fillet ends up flying off when you cast it.
Yeah, but it still makes me feel better to put it on there. All right, fish number 6. There was one other one you guys may or may not have seen on camera, and it, I don't know, it just never got hooked, but that guy right behind us is hooked up. This middle rod, this is fun.
Oh, yeah.
I love tackling a new fishery, because me and Brooke have never really done this successfully, and we finally have. So we got 2, we got 2.
You got 2!
We got a double.
Woohoo!
Yeah!
You gotta measure.
Double!
You gotta measure that one, but that one's definitely keeping.
Yeah. All right, fish number 10 on. And we were getting a little frustrated because there's a guy down there. He might be a commercial guy, and he's got these long rods, and he's catching them left and right. I mean, he's catching triple to what everyone else is catching. So for Brook and I to get our recreational limit, we're allowed 6 per person, and they gotta be that 11-inch fork. So we would need 2 more.
Ooh.
Not the monsters that Brooke's been catching, but it'll eat. She's been rubbing it in my face. She's been catching some big ones, I'll give her that.
That's a nice one.
Yeah. All right, this was on the shrimp fish bites.
Got number 11.
Oh, it is on, it is on, it is on.
Go, go, go.
All right, Brooke and I are doubled up. Oh, they really like to ride that surf break right there. And I think probably a lot of people lose them right there. You don't gotta measure this one. Sorry about that little like GoPro reel in action, but we got a double, and you got to get to the fish when you can. So the one that Brooke just caught was 11.5 inches, and then the one that I just caught is probably on the 12-13 inch side, and we got our limit. That is 12 fish, 6 per person. I'm so stoked because I was really on the fence about coming today. The weather, as you guys can tell, has not been very good. We're soaked. Sometimes you just got to go. I remember an old Frank, Chris, if you're watching, he always said the best time to go fishing is when you can, and today was a perfect example of that. I'm so beyond happy with today's results. Brookie and I had an absolutely just epic time. This is like the 4th time I've really attempted pompano fishing, and it finally paid off. We got our limit. We didn't get any monsters, but Brooke put some good sized ones in the angle today, and here they are. This is our plethora of pompano. So now the next thing I'm going to show you guys is how I made the pompano rig myself to catch pompano just like this, and I'm actually going to have all the materials linked in the description box below, because I know I get asked a ton of questions as far as rigging and stuff and rods and reels. So let's go ahead and do that, and then we'll go back to the fillet table, fillet these guys up, and we got a pompano catch, clean, and cook. As promised, guys, I'm going to show you some of the things that have worked for Brooke and I to catch pompano and put them in the cooler. I'm going to go over kind of a basic pompano rig. I'm not an expert, so save those comments. But this is what worked for Brooke and I. And all of the materials I'm about to show you guys are going to be listed in the description box below under a pompano fishing gear kit that I made. So the very first thing you need is, your pompano rig is kind of just like a chicken rig. And what I have here is 20-pound fluorocarbon bullbuster leader. And you're gonna start over here and closest to your rod tip, a little swivel, not big. You're gonna come down about 1 foot or 2, and then you're gonna make what are called dropper loops. This is the basic thing that you need, the basic knot you need for a chicken rig. And all you're doing is you're doubling up the line, and you're making it so that it's an extension of your main line. And then you're gonna create another one about another foot down, and you're making another dropper loop, and then you're gonna seal your rig off with a snap swivel. It doesn't have to be this kind, but a small snap swivel just like that. So your whole rig is no more than about an arm's length, 3 to 4 feet, depending on what depth of water you're fishing. What you guys will see, and probably have seen in the past, are with pompano rigs, they have these little white floats on them, chartreuse, pink, all different colors. And the reasoning for the floats are 2 things. A lot of people say that it is to get your bait off of the bottom so crabs don't eat it, and secondly, it also attracts fish, because what it does is, I'm gonna put this hook on. What it does is It's sitting there, and depending on the color of the water that day, it creates contrast, so it'll attract anything nearby. And really serious diehard pompano fishermen will really coordinate their floats, even something as small as their beads, to the color of the water. And you'll notice some days chartreuse is getting hit more, some days pink is getting hit more, so always match the hatch to the color of the water. And then now the hook, this is a little 2-0 Mustad Demon Circle hook. You do not want a thick gauge wire hook. Pompano have soft mouths. So that is the rig, and all I did was I put that hook and little float on there through my dropper loop through the eye of the hook. And now we're gonna come all the way down to the end of our rig, and these are these funky weights. These are called Sputnik weights, spider weights, and the way they work is, let me put this snap swivel on. The way they work is they will catch in the sand, and these little spider prongs will dig into the sand, so it really keeps your rig in place. Because pompano fishing, a lot of times you're doing it when the swell is really big, and nothing's more frustrating than your weight rolling around, and these really keep them in place. And then when a fish hits it, these will actually fold back just like this, and now you're able to reel in your rig freely. So like I said, all this stuff will be linked in the description box below, and this is what I mean by the different colored floats. You got pink, white, chartreuse, green, yellow, and it's just all about just experimenting. The actual baits that we were fishing were called fish bites. I'll have those linked in the description box below as well, and they work great. It's something you would never think would work and it'd be a gimmick, but they honestly slay. So now let's go ahead and fillet these fish up. So here is the star of the show, the Florida pompano. This is a fish that drives a lot of people crazy because they're really unpredictable, and Brook and I hit it on the right day. And then when they get on ice, you'll see the bellies will turn really, really yellow. When you first catch them, they'll get a little bit of yellow belly. Starting with our knife, this is a 6-inch boning knife made by Dexter. All of the stuff will be linked in the description box below. Starting from the head, go right here down to the anal fin. Gonna flip them around, and I like this smaller knife because it allows me to have much more control than a longer handled knife. I'll just go all the way down to the tail, just like that, one solid motion, and then lift this flap of skin up from the head. Just working my way all the way down over these rib cage bones. Look at that. That is what you want. That is a beautiful Florida pompano fillet right there. You're not missing any meat right here. Now let's do the other side. Now for the other side, since I'm right-handed, I like to do this. I like to start by the head, go to the anal fin. And what I like to do is I'll start from the head again, and I'll go all the way down to the tail. And then I'll start from the tail and work my way back up to the head, just because it's more comfortable for me. But whatever works for you is what works for you. Okay, there you go. There's our pompano fillet right there. Looking good, you can see through the bones. Now, I'm gonna eat my pompano with the skin on. A lot of people, like a really true, passionate person about pompano, they will tell you the best way to fillet pompano is to not fillet it at all, and they'll actually eat them whole. And the skin of a pompano has a lot of flavor. These fish just have a lot of flavor. They're very oily. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna just trim them up a little bit. We're gonna keep the skin on there. So now all you got is you have a little bit of bones right here. We're gonna take those out. Okay, and then you have a little bit of this rib cage bone, a thin layer, and we're just gonna go underneath it. Just like that. And now, you got one side, we just got the other side left to do. Same thing, you just have a really thin layer of some rib cage that just got stuck under here, so we're just gonna go right underneath it. And there you go. Now these guys are ready to be cooked. Well, it has been a long time since I've done one of these, but I am back and I have missed you guys, so welcome back to another Catch and Cook. So on today's menu, we got pompano, and today's underlying theme is gonna be less is more, especially when it comes to these fillets. Since pompano do have a really strong, rich flavor of their own, I'm only gonna season these guys up with 3 things. Number 1 being olive oil, salt, and pepper. And I did use a generous amount of olive oil because these are going to be going on the grill, and I do not want my fillets to stick on the grill. And the one great thing about pompano is one of very few fish that have as thin of fillets as they do, but will not stick to the grill. And I think that's why people like them so much, because they're very versatile. They got a really, really good texture and a very just full-bodied flavor when it comes to a fish, not bland whatsoever. Now to accompany our pompano, I'm gonna make a very simple, I guess you could say deconstructed caprese salad, but there's not gonna be any basil. All we have is cucumber, some fresh mozzarella, lemon, tomatoes, olive oil, and oregano. As well as for our starch, we're gonna go ahead with orzo pasta, some chicken broth to season it up, garlic, parsley, and olive oil. Very simple ingredients today, not a whole lot of extravagant things going on, no crazy sauces, so let's get started. First, we're gonna cut our English cucumber down the length of it into thin pieces, and then once again down the length, and we're basically just gonna dice our cucumber because we're going to mix it with our cherry tomatoes in a little bit. We're going to quarter our cherry tomatoes, that way we can mix it with our cucumber. And then I'm going to toss our quartered tomatoes with a little bit of olive oil, salt, pepper, oregano, and a little bit of lemon juice just to taste. Depending on how acidic you want it, you can add more or less. Now what I chose to do with my mozzarella is I wanted thinly sliced circles, that way I can place my tomato and cucumber mixture right on top. Now off camera I have my orzo pasta boiling. It goes for around 10 minutes. Once I drain that, I'm gonna go ahead and add it to this pan, which I just added some olive oil to, garlic, our parsley, and then once we get this parsley and garlic mixture going for a little bit and saute it, we're gonna add some chicken stock into there, bring it up to a boil, thicken it just a little bit, and develop those flavors. All right, once our mixture is up to a boil, we're gonna go ahead and add our orzo pasta into there, give it a quick little stir, add some butter in there if you'd like. Time for the main attraction, which is the pompano on our grill. Now make sure you put it down skin side down first, because it's going to cook about 70% skin side down, 30% on the other side. And put your fish fillets perpendicular to the grill grates. Number one, you're going to get those really good grill marks, those sear marks, and number two, it's just going to make life a lot easier when it comes to flipping and stuff. The just raw natural flavor of the grill, the salt, pepper, and olive oil, that's all you need for this pompano. You do not need to overthink this fish, and this skin crisps up so nicely. I highly recommend it. I really, really enjoyed it, and it does not dry out whatsoever because pompano is an oilier fish. Now, if you're worried about your fish sticking, make sure you oil your grill grates, and that's why I did apply a lot of oil to the pompano fillets liberally. And also, do not try to flip them before they're ready. They will let you know. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and if you like this video, please make sure to like the video. It really helps us out as creators, and if you guys want to see more catch and cooks like this from my fiance and I, Brooke, our subscription tabs will be somewhere linked on this page, and as always, I'll be seeing all you guys, my Landsharks, in that next video.